Life Unrehearsed, brought to you by Lianas Senior Transition Support, helping you navigate home care and senior residences.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Life Unrehearsed. My name is Matt Delvecchio, specializing in home care, downsizing, and the senior living industry. Thank you for tuning in on a Sunday. Coming up on the first half of the show, we're going to hear about a special partnership between the English Montreal School Board and an organization called Dress for Success Montreal. It's all about empowering women to gain confidence, be successful, and have lucrative careers. And after the 4:30 news, I'm going to be talking about how the holiday season can be a little difficult for some people, especially if it's a season of firsts, if you've lost a loved one. Corey Sirota will be joining me to offer some helpful tips and advice to get you through the holiday season blues. And what do you do if you don't have a doctor? I've brought this topic up a couple of times. It's always a very popular issue because the reality is over 800,000 Quebecers are without a family physician. It's a problem. So I'm going to give a couple recommendations and some advice, and I'm also going to be opening up the text and phone lines. We want to hear from you. Help our fellow listeners. What have you done if you don't have a doctor? We want to hear your helpful words of advice as well. All right. Mike Cohen reached out to me a couple of weeks ago. Many of our listeners know Mike. He's a city councillor in Côte Saint-Luc, outstanding columnist for The Suburban and a regular guest on the Andrew Carter Show. And he's also the manager of marketing and communications for the English Montreal School Board. He said, Matt, you've got to hear about this initiative between the EMSB and an organization called Dress for Success Montreal, and what a partnership it is. Well, to tell us more, I have in studio Sophie Katz-Milo here in studio with me. Sophie is the executive director of Dress for Success Montreal, and I also have Rick David here with me. Rick is the assistant director, adult education and vocational services, Service to Business Group, English Montreal School Board. Sophie and Rick, welcome to both of you.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for coming into studio here on a Sunday. Such a really impressive partnership. But first, maybe Sophie, let's start with you. And can you tell us a little bit about Dress for Success Montreal?
So it's part of a larger organization called Dress for Success Worldwide, which started over 25 years ago. Here in Montreal, we're going to be celebrating our 10th anniversary next year, and it's all about empowering women for them to gain the confidence they need to reach economic independence.
Nice. And we're going to hear a whole bunch more about what you're doing and really
Absolutely.
Some impressive stories and that I'd love to hear about. And Rick, I didn't even know about the EMSB Service to Business Group. Didn't know it existed. It is also impressive. And can you tell us more about that?
Well, we first launched the Service to Business Group about a year and a half to 2 years ago. And basically, essentially what we do is we try to offer customized training packages to companies or organizations to provide just that, training to enhance skill sets for employees and workers alike.
Interesting. And we're going to hear more about that, as well as the EMSB's adult education and vocational services, giving a chance to younger adults, older adults, perhaps a changing career, and the EMSB doing some wonderful things there. We're going to also talk about that. So, Sophie, I'll bring it back to you, and I want to talk about this partnership between the EMSB and Dress for Success. Can you tell us about it?
So it was something that I was thinking about doing and reaching out to different communities and different organizations. So the English Montreal School Board was on my to-do list last year. It took a while, but we finally were able to make this happen. Rick and I spoke several times and said that this would be a great opportunity for our underemployed and unemployed clients who come to see us to be upskilled and reskilled in certain programs that they need to advance their careers.
So they would reach out to you, Dress for Success, as they, if they're struggling or if they wanted to improve. And the connection then with EMSB is?
So basically, the way the clients come to us is more complicated than that. It sounds a lot easier. So we have over 72 community agency partners that refer clients to us. We also have a self-referral program where clients who are not affiliated with other community agencies that can go on our website and register to become a client. Once that happens, we are set with the English Montreal School Board. We were given parameters in terms of 20 clients. So the first 20 clients who are taken interest in wanting to upskill or reskill on the program of the theme that's taking place during that that quarter, we would reach out to our clients and pass that information on to them.
Listening to Life Unrehearsed, Matt Delvecchio here, talking with Sophie Katz-Milo. She's the Executive Director of Dress for Success Montreal, and Rick David from the EMSB. So, Rick, throw it over to you. So, approached by Dress for Success, I guess, and where and what hoops did you have to go through to actually make this happen? Because it is really... if you are someone in need and you need that help, EMSB jumped in here and said, hey, you know what? Maybe we could play a big role in this as well.
You know, it was a natural fit. And after meeting Sophie for the first time, the commitment was there from both of us to try and create something and provide an opportunity to try and help Sophie's clients. So after meeting with Sophie initially, we wanted to try to design a program to really help her clients in the sense that they could develop some type of skills. And we have the expertise at the English Montreal School Board, as we have the teachers that presently work in industry and who are teaching adult learners. So the match is perfect, and we really wanted to ensure that we provided something meaningful and relevant for her clients. So we put a package together, met with some of Sophie's employees, in particular Kelly. Had a chance to work with Kelly and put this wonderful package together.
All right. So, Sophie, the package then would include, give some examples of what some of your clients, I guess you use the term clients, is that correct? And what they would learn then?
Finished the first session, and we're hoping to have a second one starting in the new year. And it was basically on Microsoft Excel and learning how to maneuver and manage, through all the different cells and everything else that needs to be done. I've been using it for a long time, but you always learn something new on a daily basis, and there's nothing wrong with reskilling yourself.
I like that term, reskilling and upskilling. It's very, very appropriate. And like you said, Rick, you've got the staff, and this was nothing out of the ordinary for you, yet maybe a new type of clientele that you're able to help out. So typically, how many people would be in a class? I'm assuming it's a class, and is it done during the day, at night? How does it work?
So this particular training took place in the evening once a week. I believe it was on a Wednesday night for a 2-hour block. We tried to make it accommodating for the clients, for the students in this case. I think it was from 6 to 8 p.m. And it was really designed with the hopes of providing computer skills that these students could take back and apply in a work-life setting. So meaningful and relevant skills. Sophie mentioned Excel. There was an emphasis on PowerPoint. There was an emphasis on navigating Microsoft Word. So a lot of skill development and a lot of emphasis on skill development. This way here, you're feeling confident about yourself. These students would be able to learn more and gather the skills that they can apply and feel good about themselves at the same time.
Yeah, and Sophie, I guess this is a demand that you probably saw, a need that had to be filled, because this was holding back some women that were approaching you as clients.
Absolutely, because not only that, but the fact that the MSB was offering also a certificate at the end of the session. Also, they are able to add that to their CV. It's just an extra to put on their CV to show that they are serious about learning new skills, not being afraid to take a leap and doing something different, or, like I said before, upskilling and reskilling. We've supported up until November of this year, over 850 women have walked through our doors, and it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, excellent. Sophie Katz-Milo from Dress for Success Montreal, also Rick David from the EMSB. Thank you so much. I'm going to ask both of you to hang around, because individually, your organization, Sophie, Dress for Success Montreal, you're doing so much more than just this partnership. I want to hear a little bit more. And Rick, you are helping out not only companies, but employees, existing and future, with vocational adult education, and we want to hear a little bit more about that. And welcome back to Life Unrehearsed. I'm Matt Del Vecchio, and I'm talking with Sophie Katz-Milo, Executive Director, Dress for Success Montreal, and Rick David, Assistant Director, Adult Education and Vocational Services with Service to Business Group with the English Montreal School Board. As you heard, just prior, the EMSB and the Dress for Success Montreal have partnered together to assist women in their careers. But I want to hear a little bit more about your respective organizations. And Sophie, I want to start with yourself. Dress for Success Montreal, I didn't know about it. Mike Cohen brought it to my attention. You really are helping out a lot of women. Can you give us some idea of what you're doing on a day-to-day basis to help your clients?
So our clients are come to us from all walks of life. They are from the LGBTQ plus communities, immigrants, refugees, women who are coming out of abusive relationships, and some are even corporate senior management who have been restructured during the pandemic and don't know how to go back and looking for a new career or finding their path again.
Very interesting. And so all of them have various forms of challenges. And like you say, it could be just a first-generation immigrant, refugee, all the way up to perhaps an executive that is all of a sudden out of work and needs to adjust accordingly. So what were some of the challenges that you see from your clients, and then how are you addressing them?
So the challenges, when I get emotional talking about this, the challenges that we see on a daily basis, multiple times a day when the clients come through the doors, they are either, like I mentioned, they are fleeing their country, they are newly arrived and really don't know where to go. Coming from whether it's clothing that they are experiencing the first winter to a rainy day and needing raincoat and rain boots. We supply them and provide them free of charge with suiting outfits, with clothing for their job interviews. Once they land and secure their position, they will come back to us for a second suiting, and we will complement their wardrobe for the rest of the week with another 3 or 4 outfits. And once they go through that process, they are part of our professional women's group or working women's group, and are in the process of programming with webinars and conferences to help reskill and upskill them.
We're talking to Sophie Katz-Milo, Executive Director of Dress for Success Montreal, here on Life Unrehearsed. You were saying off air that you also give a little something to your clients as well.
Yes. So there's a program called Purses with Purpose, and it's a handbag that is given to each of our clients that are filled with items that women would need, whether it's feminine hygiene products, makeup. We try to do even Tim Hortons or another type of gift card, to help these women feel good about themselves, because many of them give up their meals for their children.
It's incredible, and I think a lot of it is about letting them gain their confidence, giving them a chance. And this is what I love with this partnership with the EMSB and Rick, talking to Rick David as well, Assistant Director, Adult Education and Vocational Services and Service to Business Group. Rick, bring you in here now. And we talked a little bit about the Service to Business Group. The adult education and vocational services offered by the EMSB are so important, very dear to my heart. My daughter, special needs daughter, but highly functioning, has taken several adult ed classes, and due to the EMSB, she is now working with an employer that understands and is empathetic and realizes there are challenges with special needs young adults. I keep calling her my daughter, but young adults now. And maybe you could tell me a little bit about some of the adult education programs, because it's just not special needs. So you're giving chances to young adults, older adults, all types of adults. And tell us a little bit more about the vocational schools.
Well, that's the beauty of adult education right there. Well said. Age doesn't play a factor in any of this. Learning is a lifelong journey. So we have students that are 16, 17 years of age, all the way up to somebody that could be in their 60s or 70s, depending on the program. We offer a wide range of options for students. We have the adult general education courses, which are designed for students to either get their high school diploma or DES, or get the necessary prerequisites to enter a vocational program. And then we have the vocational stream, which we offer some fantastic programs in our vocational sector, some very trendy programs right now, I have to say.
Such as?
Well, look, when you think of electric vehicles, right, as an example, EV, we've got electromech as well at one of our other centers. We've got the health programs. We've got the cooking programs. So we've got some fantastic programs with great teachers who are able to share their knowledge and expertise. And vocational education is evolving, and the stigma is changing. It really is a viable career path, and it opens up tremendous pathways to employment and to opportunities. And of course, as you mentioned before, we have the social integration services program for students who have some emotional or intellectual disabilities. And then we have the socio-vocational program as well, whereby these students have the opportunities to learn employability skills with the goal of integrating them into the workforce.
Yeah, you bring up a very good point about vocations. The vocational jobs perhaps had that stigma, and that is changing. I think changing very, very quickly. Employers are understanding that it's not easy to get good, loyal employees, and I think the tide has turned in a very positive way, and you're giving these students and adults a chance here. And I guess just before we wrap it up, you've had, what is it, one semester now together, or what is next on the horizon for Dress for Success Montreal and the EMSB? Any talk about the future?
Absolutely. We always talk about the future. We have to talk about the future. We have to make sure that everybody's supported. We're hoping to start our second session in early winter of 2024.
Yes, we're looking at a spin-off, if you will, to the course that was offered in the fall. We're looking at starting at the end of January for a 6-week period. Again, to really design something around technology, because employers are really looking for somebody that has some technological skills, and that's just not just with the hardware and software component, but a very good general understanding. So we're trending in that direction, and we're looking to start at the end of January.
Wonderful. So from an EMSB perspective, where do our listeners go if they want to find out a little bit more about EMSB and the various programs you're offering?
Well, look, the easiest thing to do is to go to our home website at the www.emsb.qc.ca. All our programs are outlined. There's a special tab on the left-hand side, I believe, for the Service to Business group. So if you're interested in training your employees or having your employees feel more confident in the workforce, I just wanted to mention that, other than management skills and leadership skills, we offer communication in the workforce. That's the beauty about the Service to Business group. We can offer and customize anything and everything to try and develop the worker.
Yeah, like I said, I had no idea you'd do that, but this is from the employer perspective. You're sitting down with employers and working on programs for their employees. Just love it, and I wish you continued success. Sophie, I love what Dress for Success Montreal is doing. I didn't know about them, and really you could even tell by how passionate you are about it. You really are special. You want to help, and you've got a whole team in place to do that. So if women want to find out about Dress for Success Montreal, where should they go?
They should go to www.dfsmontreal.org. All
right. Very, very good. Help thousands of women, and love the story, and wishing you continued success.
Thank you so much
success
for having
with this
us.
partnership.
Thank
really,
you so much.
Thank you.
And you'll have to thank both of you, Mike Cohen, for putting us all together. Thank you, Mike, for the introduction. All right. That is Sophie Katz-Milo, Executive Director of Dress for Success Montreal, and Rick David, the Assistant Director, Adult Education and Vocational Services, and that Special Service to Business Group for the English Montreal School Board. All right.